Hello, everybody. I am Tanya Lee of Harmonia, and here we are for all signs mid-month check-in. But this is going to be particularly for the air signs Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini for October 2025. So I used to do this format only inside the vault, and every once in a while I would choose an element, and that element would also be public over on YouTube, so that YouTube could get an idea of what it's like to be over at Harmonia Friends Club, to see what the check-ins are like. So I've decided to bring this model back, instead of going through each individual sign. So we're going to see what the collective energy is in here, and then each month, so next month it will be the water signs that get a collective one, because we'll be moving into Scorpio season, and Scorpio will get their public reading and an inside vault reading as well. So some changes going on, but we're going to get to it, right? We're going to see what's going on here collectively first for our air signs. So let's call in our guides, our ancestors, and our ascendant masters. Spirit, do my air signs need to know right now? What is collectively going on for them for the mid-month of October? Here we go. Strength and resilience. Strength and resilience. So being a tarot reader, the first card I think of is strength. And strength is number 8. And so that's the actions and masteries here of needing courage. And there is something that is coming around, and look at that. The fall leaves are kind of swirling around. So I don't know if you are creating the storm here, air signs, or if you are amidst in the chaos, but we're going to see where you are in the Fool's Journey. Remember, no reversals on initial story play. Where are my air signs, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini on the Fool's Journey right now? Where are they? Here we go. Oh my goodness. The devil. Capricorn energy. Well, the devil can get a bad rep, primarily because it can be very karmic. It's all about escapism or feeling chained. Could have a toxic, closed-minded context, but it also could bring in a lot of lusty, passionate, driven desire. And that desire, sometimes when it is focused, can also keep us focused on the goal. But it can become the devil when it becomes obsessive. So right now, my air signs are going through a karmic cycle with the devil, okay? But we're going to see what the challenge is with this devil. And that could come in places. That could be in mindset. That could be in habits. The challenge here for my air signs with that devil energy. Ooh. Resting your mind, the 4 swords. There's some heartbreak here. I'm really focused right now on the 3 of swords more I am here, which is the sword being put to rest, which is typically how it is on the Rider-Waite as well. But I feel like there is something brewing in the skies here. And I'm just going to I keep going back to this. There's a storm. Now, this could be an internal storm too, air signs, but I do feel like your challenge here is to stop, take a moment, a pause, maybe because it could be feelings, not to bypass feelings. All right, let's see what your breakthroughs are. There's definitely, the swords is all air, so challenge here is to separate yourself from the noise. Ooh, yeah. Now, your breakthrough is when you're grounded, when you are focused. And so that could be, honestly, a good thing. But the challenge is how making sure you don't bypass something. And that's going to be different for each individual sign. And we're going to see that. But I do feel that with air signs, the 8 of Pentacles, this is someone here who's really focused. And when they're focused on whatever it is, that's where the passion goes, the desires. It's a fulfillment. But make sure that you're not so focused on something that you miss it. Because the challenge here is that I think sometimes you keep going and going and going and going till you get burnout, but also you might keep going and not see something else around you because you don't want it to be bothered. And that's going to play out each different on each individual sign. So we're going to start off with Libra first to see how that will affect you. All right, let's start with Libra. All right, happy birthday out there to my Libras. This is going to be for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Spirit, what else is going on with Libra? Here we go. Libra, get help. Life can become overwhelming and sometimes even unmanageable. Now would be a great time to reach out for help before your problem destroys you. I feel this Libra has a tendency to be very hyper vigilant, afraid to open up and ask. It's almost like they're imprisoned in their mind. Maybe there's shame here. I think there's an obsessive energy here trying to fix something yourself for at least this Libra. All right, let's see what they're walking into. Spirit, what is this Libra walking into? Reversals are now up. The Fool. So a new approach, trying to be optimistic, not a bad way to go. Paying your respects. Yeah, you're leaving something or someone. The World. Here's the thing. I feel like this Libra is going through a karmic cycle with another relationship or an old version of themselves. And whoever this individual is, this is something here where through thick and thin, I think you said you'd always be there under a specific circumstance. But it comes to the point here where, and look at there's a vulture behind there. I've just noticed that. I think that you're trying to be optimistic, but there's that storm again. You see it. The storm is brewing. It's in all these cards. The challenge here is your past keeps sneaking up on you. Whether this is actually someone trying to communicate with you or it's an old memory, it's facing the areas here where you felt that you had to help or do something. I feel like this Libra here may have been emotionally manipulated by an individual here who played survivor 24/7. But really, what they were doing is just feeding their need of hunger. All right, something here of codependency. And it feels like this Libra went through this. But what you're walking in here is some closure. And this closure energy here, and it's not saying you're going into a fallout shelter, but it is coming around again. And I feel that you may have these glimpses where someone may, I don't know, you may even feel empathy here of how have they changed. And if it's not a particular person, it's empathy here for yourself of going, oh, what did I put myself through? But you don't have to go back to your old ways. It's just to revisit it, to give it its respect. It played its part. It played its part. So there's an ego death here going on here. And it's not, you can't really kill the ego, but I feel like you're shedding an old version of you. Let's see what emotionally is going on here for this Libra. Temperance. Yeah, it's taken you some time. You have your good days and your bad days. Sagittarius energy could have been dealing with a Saggy. But it's not reversed, so that's good. So you're patiently trying to have a new beginning, a new approach, not looking at the past as though you need to stop and be stuck in it. Now, some people get stuck also, Libra, in shadow work. That's coming up as well, where we get obsessed with trying to fix a situation or just going deeper and deeper and deeper. But there's going to be a part where you're going to have to go ahead. You're going to have to take accountability here, and not to dismiss the problem or escape the problem, but how do I fix the problem? And sometimes, oh, here it is. Some areas aren't meant to be fixed. Some areas aren't. And it's like we're looking for that solution, that resolution. But judgment here reverse is it truly over? And some of you may realize that you're still not over a situation from your past. And I think there's a part of you that says, is there something wrong with me? Or will this ever go away? Am I ever going to feel different about it? Well, right now it's coming up for you to face it and take a different approach on your perspective of the story. So your point of view, however you played the part on you, it's about you more than it is about another. But this is for you to take that back. Yeah, because there's a massive change going on here for you. And these changes with the world, look at all of, I just want to keep in mind here, you got a lot of major arcana cards here. And yes, we started off with the devil energy, but we have the Fool, Temperance, the World, and Death here, and Judgment. So there's only one cup here that is in the middle. So this was divinely planned. These changes, you're being kind of forced into changes, and it feels like a metamorphosis. It feels a little bit uncomfortable, but there is a part of you that is kind of like in the between right now, the between stage of coming out. So think of it kind of like a butterfly coming out of its cocoon. You're not fully evolved yet. You need that time and that pause. And the challenge here is you need that time here to dry out, yeah, so that you can fly away when your wings are fully unfolded and ready. So you're going through a massive change here. And this change here is just to collectively look at those emotions, allow those emotions to pass through. And the challenge, though, is not to bypass it, because you don't want to stop the change. It's just to realize that this is uncomfortable. And honestly, when you think of healing, it is uncomfortable. Healing in general, when you say you're going through the healing process, it's uncomfortable. It hurts, but it's not going to be forever. It's not going to be forever. What advice does Spirit have here for this Libra? Remember, no reversals on initial story play, and then we'll move on to Aquarius. 9 of Wands. Okay. The 4 of Pentacles. I think it's, honestly, it looks like this 9 of Wands was facing this Temperance or looking at it. Okay. You're healing. You still are, and you're resting your mind and your head, and you have some boundaries here and are guarded. But there's also this foundation here that you're very protective over. And Spirit's saying you can be protective as you're going through the healing process right now, but you don't have to overprotect yourself to not allow more growth to come in. You're just kind of in this notion here of the in-between. So I feel like you are really in a pause state. Rest. Some of you may be physically not feeling well. Others of you, it's like give yourself time to just be in this energy, accept things for what they are, but also, this is not a time here to make huge moves. All right. This is a time here to build up your strength, and I think the strength here comes with the courage, because you're grieving. And you're grieving an old part of you, and you want to be optimistic, but the optimistic part comes here is that it played its part, right? This relationship played its part. This version of you played its part. And now you're going through a massive change. So right now for this month, that's the rest of this month here, I do feel like you're holding on to what you got. You got your reserves here and energy here, and it's only enough for you to attain. But Spirit is really saying, and it's going back to the first question for you, Libra, life can become overwhelming and sometimes even unmanageable. Now would be a great time to reach out for help before your problem destroys you. I really feel that the spirit is pushing you to say, hey, don't be so guarded not to take help. You're allowed to. All right. That's what I got for you, Libra. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below, and we're going to move on to Aquarius. Aquarius is up. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome. I want to remind you guys that your timeless story in the vault was released yesterday. So if that's something that interests you, you may want to check that out over at Harmonia Friends Club, my membership area. All right, Aquarius, this is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's see what else is going on for you. Here we go. Epiphany. Every day is a day to learn or discover something new, no matter how small or great. Knowledge is power. So you are in knowledge mode. That's not a bad thing. It's an aha moment. An epiphany here is learning or discovering something new. Maybe it's about yourself. Maybe it's about another. Maybe it's about a situation. We shall see what the cards have to say. Let's see what this Aquarius is walking into. Reversals are now up. Wow. Well, that's your card. That's your badge. The star. That's Aquarius energy here. Badge of honor. The zombie slayer. Six of swords. Congratulations, Aquarius. Nine of cups. Should we just stop here? Should we just stop here? Congratulations on your hard work. Now, we got Pluto going direct in Aquarius as well. So there's some massive changes that you've been through, but it wasn't for nothing. And I think that that's the big epiphany moment here. What you're walking into is a moment here of appreciation. And this appreciation here is, I did it. I'm doing the work. I'm getting through stuff. It's uncomfortable, but I will move through this, and there's going to be a clear day. And the clear day here is that fulfillment. Now, this card is a little different how I read this, because this card here is usually I'm hunkered down, I'm safe, I have everything that I need to feel comfortable and cozy while I'm in this beautiful outdoor stuff, but she's not outdoors enjoying that paradise. So I do feel like you've prepared for a particular moment, but this particular moment of accomplishment, is it truly a success for what you want? Are you experiencing it all? You're in a bunker of some sort. You could also be in hermit mode. Maybe you're doing a lot of stuff solo right now. Emotionally, how does this badge of honor feel? The Four of Hazards here, you're feeling the loss. You're like, yeah, I prepared for the worst. And I feel this moment here is like you knew something was going to happen, but it doesn't mean that it feels comfortable. This could be for an Aquarius here who is newly single. If they're not newly, and maybe you saw this relationship is always ending. The challenge here is that separation, that four of what do I do with myself? You know, what do you mean I rest my nervous system? Okay. It's like, well, you're feeling the loss. It's like, it's quiet. There's no more drama around you. And if this isn't a person, this could be work, but I feel like there's something here where the drama has been removed. You're having an epiphany moment here that you're feeling the loss. You're not like, oh my gosh, I got to protect myself. I can't hear this stuff. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Now it is quiet. You are on your own. Okay. What's going on with the Six of Swords energy here of Aquarius? Ten of Cups. Yeah, you dodged a bullet. Yes, there's a lot of stuff here that is not in paradise. The thing is whatever paradise you're in, you're not fully enjoying it. You know, it's like a mother and her children are here and are, it's like a happy family. Put it that way. This is a happily family card, minus the zombie apocalypse going out and the outside noise. So I do feel like you're in a comfort zone, but there's almost boredom here in this comfort zone. It's like, I'm not a part of it. Oh, yeah. The Lovers, the Choice, Gemini. This is for an Aquarius who actually says, am I the drama? Was I the drama? Did I really enjoy the drama? Did I actually enjoy the chaos? And now that it's quiet, is it really truly what I want? You know, there's a part of you that misses it, and there's a part of you that desires it. And even though it felt toxic as hell, and you've been wanting to escape it for quite some time, but you escape it now, and now you're like, well, that was a whole part of my life. Or like, what? Like, I was devoted to that. So what do I do with myself? Now, especially if this is job related or something here where you devote so much time and then you're separated from it, it's like, what do I do with myself? I've been working my way through all of this, but this is a relationship where you got out with the skin of your teeth, and you always knew this was going to happen, and now you're happily with family, friends, or whatever, where it's equal. There's a part of you that misses it, desires it. Interesting. What advice does Spirit have for you? Look at that. You're not in the noise, but you're seeing something explode. And maybe it's not fully ended. Maybe it's someone here who's on their tipping point here. But again, your focus here is on the loss. I feel like he's looking right at that. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like this Aquarius isn't sure or has some uncertainty about how safe they truly are. Whether they left a place or left a relationship here, what it really means to be in union. And there's a calm before the storm. And, we saw this in the collective reading in the beginning, strength and resilience here. I do feel like there's something here where this Aquarius is fully going into, and like, I feel like this deep energy is more on the precipice of this new foundation. I want to build something where I can enjoy it. I like this relationship. Yeah, you definitely have an epiphany moment, but the epiphany moment here is it possible to rebuild again? Whether it's rebuilding another relationship, or a new job. I feel like you're looking at possibilities here and not focused on an old one that's been annihilated. But the big question is, was the drama really the other individual? Was I the drama? Did I start something in there? What was my part in this? So I feel like this Aquarius is really taking the accountability on their part, and then moving forward with whatever foundation that they are is the actions that they take. There is that star. Do you see it? The badge of honor. I did my part. Well, some of you, the part that you took was escaping something that you prepared for, and it had to happen this way. But the rest part here is allowing something to truly end, because there's a part of you that's wondering if it's truly over. So this is an Aquarius here who's doing some really massive soul searching about a union or a reunion, and how to build a foundation here that can break through the storm. Okay. It's all about accountability. That's what I got here for Aquarius. If this resonated for you, go ahead and hit like, comment below. We'd love to see you at Harmonia Friends Club. But if not, this is where we part ways. We're going to move on to Gemini. Alrighty, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's see what's going on for you for the rest of October. Here we go. Gemini, what happened? What happened to you? Now is not the time to give up or give in. You've come too far to give up now. It's almost like you got midpoint into a book and you're like, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with this. But the challenge here is the separation. Is it the right time? Now is not the time to give up or give in. You want to give in. You want to give in. You're tired. This Gemini is like, I'm done. Well, let's see what you're walking into. Reversals are now up. They will be affected by these cards. Oh, yeah. Hermit energy. Now, interesting enough, we had the Hermit energy kind of come up in the collective reading, not for you guys, but for the collective when I did the collective all signs, which is part of a whole all signs for mid-month. This is Virgo energy, but with it reverse, it's you got to put yourself back out there. But you see the story. It's like, you're not done. Now is not the time to give up or give in. There's a part of you that wants to ignore a situation. And it does feel gruesome. It does feel like confrontation. It does. Yeah, it does. So this is for Gemini who's who's in escape pod right now. You're trying to either ignore a scenario, enjoy a good book, but you're not really getting joy out of it. It's not going to last you for a while before you know you're an addict here of dodging a bullet. And I do feel like this Gemini knows that this is not going to get better. This is going to get worse. And they can't pretend long that like this chocolate's going to run out, the book's eventually going to end, and you can't be like, what happened? I wasn't a part of it. Okay, there's the creepy zombies here on the side. There's just something here where I just feel like you're breathing or smoking away your problems. It's like, not mine. Working on your energy. Yeah. 10 of Cups. There it is, but it's still affecting you, So here's the thing. And this is hard too, because in the collective energy, sometimes we look at the world and the world can look like shit, right? It's like, I don't want it to affect my home, my community, my family. But it's also, how do you protect that energy? And there is something in particular that is washing ashore, okay, whether it's asking for assistance or help, that is toxic, that I do feel like you need to be more protective over and pretend that it's just not there. Yeah, Two of Swords. This is also, I feel, a Gemini going back and forth of how to cut something off or someone off. Two of Swords here with this, again, is bringing the Two of Swords again. But I feel this energy, what's deeply on here is heartbreak. I feel like this Gemini has a hard time hurting individuals in a sense of like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but they're no good for me, or the situation's not good. But I also know that I can't keep walking by it as though nothing is happening, because eventually it will affect me. It will affect my family. It will affect my friends, my relationships, my life, whatever it is. Yeah. So Gemini is starting to work on what they got. And so the outcome of this for you with that King of Wands energy is taking charge. And it's going to be in a very creative way, charismatic way, because that's what the fire energy does here, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay. It's facing this devil, and it's facing that, okay, I got to muster up some courage. I got to confront this on, and this confrontation is not going to be comfortable. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, Gemini, for you. It's not going to be comfortable. Nope. Because whoever you're facing, okay, is going to pull out the ugly side of you. And I feel like this is more your energy too, but I think that it's the King of Wands here combined here with the King of Swords. Okay. That's your energy. But do you see how this individual here is kind of gloating over what they've gone through, what they've killed, how they annihilated it, how they protected. They're honest, they're truthful. But when the King of Swords here is reversed, it's very, very blunt. So this, I really feel like this Gemini is realizing I have to be extremely blunt. And it may look like I might have to just be the villain here, but I have to also find a way here to be creative in a sense of allowing this to change my story, or to not ignore it, because this person, this situation is affecting a unit of some sort. Okay. And I want to say it's a family unit, but this could be work related too. Advice here for you. I mean, there's no comfortable way of doing this. It's a 10 of Swords, which means once you make this decision, once you state these words, once you say it, once you claim it, once you take the actions and say, I'm done, I'm finalized, it's going to look like betrayal. But it's also a 10, which is a rock bottom. And there's only one way you can go with rock bottom, which is up. So this 10 of Swords is you also allowing yourself to have a rebirth and to then be able to clearly look at your options. Now you're going to be confused here, because once you do this, the options here, what do I do next? And it's not, you're turning your back entirely on a person or a situation, but you're finalizing by confronting it. You are saying, I'm not in this anymore. It's over. I quit. But now it's looking at those options a little bit differently, because the storm here, and we do see the storm happen here in the Four of Swords, and we do see it here, the strength and resilience, is to realize that whatever choice that you make, take a moment, a pause, not escaping a situation, a pause to feel into it, because each cup has a lesson here. And Spirit saying your strength and your resilience is the fact that you can get through these lessons. So try not to look at it as an ugly situation, or, ooh, it could be overwhelming, but it's also an opportunity here for you to feel into something and pause, and not just take the next opportunity here because it feels good or it feels like the easy way out. You're not supposed to select easy, by the way. Okay. I can tell you that. That's what the big channel message here. The devil is here twice. So this is something here that's going to take some work, some courage, muster courage here to end something, to quit something, but also to make a decision here that is going to test your strength. And so it's the uncomfortable one that is being called upon for you to handle, because you have the capacity here to handle it. So it's going to be different for each Gemini out there, but that's the main message I have for you. All right, Gemini, that's what I have for you. If this resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Like I said, would love to see you over on the other side at Harmonia Friends Club, so you can check out the rest of the All Signs mid-month or your timeless tarot stories within the vault. But if not, this is where we part ways. You guys take care and have a good one.